I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back with a movie review, and this week I want to talk about the film Chopper. Chopper is an Australian-made biography about the criminal Mark Chopper Read. He was a career criminal in Australia, famous for potentially elaborating and telling a tall tale rather than sticking to the facts, so it's hard to determine, even in his books and in this film, whether what they say happened or not. But he was a real criminal in Australia, and his field was robbing drug dealers. Now you have to be pretty crazy to walk up into certain drug dealers' houses with firearms ready to rob them, because any drug dealer sitting on any significant level of cash or product should generally have, a gang with them or weapons with them, so you would generally be expecting some kind of conflict. You wouldn't expect to just be able to go in there and rob people, I'm assuming. So yeah, that's what Mark Chopper Read did, and this movie just sort of documents all the insane shit that went down in his life, and it was definitely insane. Even if some of it's embellished, the things that definitely happened are crazy enough. You take one look at this guy's body, and his body is a story of murder attempts on him. He's got pickaxe wounds, gunshot wounds, razor blade wounds. He famously had a contract put out on him in the prison he was in, so he had another inmate cut his ears off so he was transferred out of that wing, and thus he wouldn't be killed by a hitman. I mean, it's just insanity, and not all of it is pleasant to watch. They do document some of the grimmer sides of a character like this. He does commit violence towards females in this film, which is always disgusting to watch for me, but it's something I guess he did, and he wanted the story to be as real as possible, I guess, so he bears all for this movie. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to give away too many spoilers in case you watch it as always, but some of this film does take place while he is incarcerated, and you do see him back out on the street in between that time. So you get to see how he operates to survive in multiple settings. And one thing you sort of take away from watching it as a character study is, he was definitely his own worst enemy. Almost everything that happened in his life was a direct result of him doing some either dumb or crazy shit first to provoke the response. It was also the first time I saw Eric Bana, who was specifically scouted to play Chopper by Mark Brandon Read, and he went to visit Chopper while Chopper was still alive at his home at the time in Tasmania. And Eric Bana has since went on to have a lot of roles, including The Incredible Hulk, but he truly did a great job capturing Chopper's essence throughout this film. In fact, on the Blu-ray version, which I have, there's lots of special features, and some of them are when Eric Bana and the director Andrew Dominik went to visit Chopper, so Chopper himself is in the special features and interviews. He's since passed away from stomach cancer, but yeah, while this was being made, he was still alive to help them with the story and who he is as a person. Another interesting thing is, for those of you who know, I also make hip-hop music. I've been a battle rapper for 25 years. I've battled internationally known people from America and shit like that, and Chopper actually ended up making hip-hop albums, and on his hip-hop albums there's a lot of Australian battle rappers that through association I kinda know, because it's a tight little scene, the international battle rap community. So yeah, I don't know why at the end of his life Chopper decided to start making hip-hop, but fair play. Now, a lot of biographies, especially ones that are made on a lesser budget, just don't seem to get the pacing right of a traditional film, is how I would describe it. Perhaps they stick too much to how it happened in the order it happened, but that necessarily, while true, might not make for the best paced movie. The way Chopper is edited and paced, it's almost like they've got the best of both worlds, because it does touch on most of the key points throughout his life, but the way they've decided to structure it, they've obviously had to turn, say, 3 characters into 1 character for the sake of the film, and they have chosen to do that in places which make this move smoothly along like any good film should. So not only is it an interesting biopic about a real person, but it also works as just a standalone movie. Even if Chopper was not a real person, you would be like, yo, have you seen this movie Chopper? It's a crazy little movie. The fact that as an icing on the cake, this was a real man just makes it even more interesting. And the movie itself doesn't shy away from the fact that Chopper was a notorious storyteller. Later on in the film, he's accused of killing a man outside the back of a nightclub with a shotgun. And I believe we actually see 3 versions of the same story. One is the story Chopper is telling to the police. One is the counter story that the police have heard from witnesses. And then we cut to the actual perpetrators telling their story in a strangely edited rhyming form, no less. And so we get 3 perspectives of the same event. So it does show that who knows whether Chopper's telling the truth in any of these situations. I mean, he definitely shot that guy in the face with a shotgun. His reasons for it and what led up to it will forever be a mystery to absolutely everyone except Chopper, and he's dead. So yeah, just a mystery, unfortunately. And it also shows the strange back and forth loyalty you sometimes get in the criminal fraternity. You know, Chopper famously tried to break one of his best friends out of jail. In this film, one of his best friends tries to stab him to death in jail. Now, while they are battling one another in court about this incident, Chopper has also loaned the guy who tried to stab him to death a suit for court. It's strange. It's like, even if these people try and kill him, he has a layer or level of loyalty that is willing to forgive and forget almost anything. And that's one of the strange dichotomies in this film. It's the contrast of some of the horrific acts of violence and the nonchalantness with which Chopper is either subjected to it or subjecting people to it. Whether he is taking a blowtorch to people's toes or being stabbed to death, he'll generally be quite relaxed about it. And I've got to say, even some of the old Chopper footage is worth checking out if you guys have never seen him as an individual. There's a famous Australian news interview they did with him when they went out to his farm in Tasmania. And even in that news interview, he's slightly intimidating to the female reporter they've sent out to do the story. And even during that interview, she asks him, "Are you a good shot?" And he tells his friend to hold up a beer bottle, and he just walks back and shoots the beer bottle with a rifle, obviously exploding the glass, cutting his friend's hand. He doesn't give a fuck. He just wanted to be a badass and shoot a bottle out of a guy's hand, which he did. But yeah, still could have either shot the guy's hand off, or the glass could have like flew up and nicked the guy in the artery or something. Chopper didn't really think about these things. I love the way this is filmed as well. A lot of times when you deal with criminal fraternities, everything is spotless and shiny and immaculate, and they're in Rolls Royces and the best suits. This isn't the sort of criminals you are getting in Chopper. These guys are gritty, grimy, horrible, disgusting looking, the lowest of the lows, scraping by, probably addicted to the same product they're selling, etc. And it just feels dirty. It feels like any surface you touch in this movie is going to give you AIDS. And the sort of colour grading they chose for this film just emphasises that. It's very browny, yellowy, lots of browns and yellows throughout the movie, just adding to the grittiness of it. But yeah, I mean, aside from Ned Kelly, Chopper is probably Australia's most infamous criminal export, and this is the movie about his life. So if you want to watch an interesting film about a notorious criminal, check it out. If you don't care about criminals but like an interesting movie, check it out. And as far as biopics go, this is probably my favourite ever, alongside The Hurricane with Denzel Washington. So that has been my little review of Chopper. Until next time, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, come over to the Patreon, sign up and help support me in this channel personally. I have been BA. Peace.